Rebeca here with Jump, and today I have my friend and sister and design and somebody that I admire so much. I am looking at her, and my heart is just full that I get to have coffee with my
Yeah.
friend this morning. And I have a sweet friend, Malisa from Purpose Driven Living Home. And
Yes.
I I just want to say I was so excited to first bring you, not just because I have like this admiration from who you are and the just the spontaneous, and you're so original, you're so yourself, that has inspired me for so many years. But now I feel like you have become a master. There's so much that you can give and teach and tell us in everything that you do. So welcome, Malisa, to Jump.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Rebecca. You just don't know. I've been longing following you. I think I started following you because you captured my mind with your paintings. Like I was overwhelmed when I saw that because I love that your artistry was so faith driven and it was so much beauty into your artistry. Like I was just amazed, and I started following you and I'm like, this is amazing. And I started sharing you even when I had a small audience. I always, you have to start small. God honors those that start out small, and every step by step you have to make sure that you walk it with the meaning and the purpose that you desire. So, because God gives you the desires of your heart. He said that in his words, and those are his promises. And his promises are always yes and
And
amen.
amen. I feel like I feel like this is going to be like a like a church service here this morning. Like if you join me, all creative, get ready, because I think you're gonna have a load of faith just come to your heart after this interview. So if you're driving, make sure you're wearing seatbelt because it's about to get strong. All right. So, Melissa, take us back. I always like to bring our listeners to the story behind it, because I think when people see so much glorious and success, this gorgeous house that has fresh flowers and hot coffee and a beautiful table set. When people see all that, that's all they can see. They're not seeing anything behind the scene. They're not seeing the dreams, the pursuit, the work
Yeah.
that takes.
Yes.
This podcast is for creators,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. It's for people that we're telling them like, hey, jump. There is hope out there. There's people doing
Yeah.
it. So take us back to the very beginning of how this whole thing started for you.
Yeah. So my husband and we built homes for profit. We've built homes like ourselves. We've lived in 4 states. We've built 7 homes. This home here in Florida is our 7th home. And so as we began to work together to build homes, whether it was for a profit living or whether it was for just us living in it ourselves, I always had the creative mind to create spaces, whether those spaces was large or small, but I wanted that space in my home to have a purpose. And so that drove me. So when we moved to Indiana, I was like, okay, God, what is this? What is this? That is going to, I'm sorry, I got a call in the middle of my Zoom.
That's okay.
So I was like, what is the purpose of what's my next step? So I created this page upon, okay, I just really want to just show my vision on how I create little snippets of pockets of your home, like just little, how you can fluff a pillow, how you can make a bed, or how you can fix a delicious cup of coffee and people admire that. And so I didn't do it while my children were younger because I wanted to give them my time. And because their time was valuable to me, and I wanted to give them my time, even though I did little things in my own home. I just wanted to make sure my children had my time. But now that they're older, I think that it's time that I get my time. So now that I'm having my time and still nurturing them, but they are at the age where I've nurtured them and they are beginning to know how to nurture themselves. Now I can give myself to what I desire. Wow. And upon that, I created my Instagram page, Purpose Driven Living. As you know, we all start out with zero. Like, you start out with 0 followers, and then you start getting your audience, you start building up, maybe 1 follow, maybe 2 follow, maybe 3, 4, 5. It did not matter to me, because if you got 1 person in your audience that's behind what you do, wow, then that is 1 person that you have inspired. And when you inspire that 1 person, it becomes like a domino effect, because that 1 person is going to say, hey, I got inspired by such and such. Have you seen them? Have you seen their home? And then it starts spreading like wildfire. And then you begin to say, okay, God, is this where you want me at? Okay. Is this what I'm going to do? So I loved it. I love creating spaces. I love getting DMs that says, hey, can you help me put this together? Could you help me put that together? And because I have a big heart, a lot of designers out here, they charge people that comes into their DMs to have them to set up a vignette. I'm giving back, because when someone asks me, hey, how do I set up this vignette? I got a family event and I want this vignette to be pretty. Can you help me organize it? Of course, I'm going to help you, because 1 person helped me. And I know that once I get to that place where God would set it up as a business, that he will begin to pour in my customers. And if it becomes that, if that's where he wants me, then the fundamental for that dream of mine to actually become what I want to become is that what I really wanted to do was stage homes. Like, I always wanted to stage homes, and whether it's for a builder, because my husband and I build, so staging those homes before we sold them was like my dream. So now I'm like, I really want that dream. Like, I gotta have that dream. Right. So once that then I know that the financial part will pour into me because of the promises. And so with that being said, pouring out myself with helping someone now is just a gift. And my gift will make room for me. Mm-hmm. So that's right. I know at the end, the purpose of what I'm going to be doing is driving and living and creating homes for people to be comfortable in, and to, when they walk into their space, they say, oh my gosh, this is so cozy, this is comfortable, thank you so much. And it's, Rebeca, I can go on and on, baby. Anyway,
that's amazing. So if you can say a word to somebody that is watching, that they do have a desire to create something amazing, how would be the first step? Like, what do you say would be the first thing for them to do,
So the first thing that I done was I began creating space for my family and my friends. Okay. And then I knew that they loved it, or they fell in love. So let's say that you want to be like me and you want to start that Instagram. A lot of times I see what a lot of people do is that they wait till they get this spectacular home and then they start sharing it. But I always say, your living quarters is your space, no matter how big, no matter how small, no matter if you are a renter, no matter if you're an owner, that is your space. Mm-hmm. Start creating your space. whether it's a little corner, whether you set up a coffee bar on your countertops, create that space like you would love walking to it in the morning time. Like I really enjoy going to my coffee bar, getting me a cup of coffee. I started there. And then so you can start sharing things right then and there. It doesn't matter. Put that out there on Instagram, because I'm telling you, if you love it, that one person you will inspire and they will love it just as much. And before you know it, you will have an audience that love everything you do. So just start, just jump. Like you say, just jump. Put your feet to the fire and just jump.
Oh, that's amazing. So I love that, because I think that's what you're saying. It's what we hear so many times, is to start with what you have in hands, to start where you're at, you
Yes.
know. Now, let's move the conversation to you as a person, and you're driven for faith and life and family. How how did that started? Like, how did somebody started and say, I believe, this is purpose. This is, how did the whole thing inside of you, how did you nurture that inside of you? How did that came about?
So I am definitely going to give this big round of applause to my husband, because when I used to do like the decor for Christmas gifts, my husband used to buy me books that explain dreams, that explain desires. And he understood my story and he understood my passion, but I didn't have the confidence in myself that I can really do this. But every year, he would just surprise me with some type of book that motivated me to start. And I didn't know that he was behind me as much as he was, until he told me one day. He was like, do you realize why I purchased these books for you, or to get started on? He's purchased me like business books. He even encouraged me to go back to school and learn how to he wants me to get a business degree. He wants me to do this. And I'm like, he says, because I know your heart desire. And so with him doing that pushed me and that motivated me. For one, you've got to have that one person behind you, 100, and if I could say 1,000%, because without that person behind you, whether it's a significant other, a parent, or a child, and we live different aspects of life. So I understand that. So whatever that one person is that's, hey, pushing you, go, 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 and that does things to move you and motivate you. My husband was that person.
Wow.
And for that, I give him that round of applause.
That is amazing. And that's amazing that he was so patient to wait for your time, to wait for you to process the time that you felt, okay, now I'm ready to do this. So you had to have that time. But once you made a decision to say yes, your yes was your best yes. That means you didn't give up in the first.
No, I didn't give up. As I began researching Instagram, they always said, oh, if you don't have a certain amount of followers, you can't do this or you can't do that. And sometimes it kind of threw me in a corner where I felt like, okay, I don't have enough followers, so I can't do this. But then I realized I am not my own. So with that being said, it didn't matter how many followers I had. I still created things that somebody loved.
That's amazing.
And so with that, my creativity couldn't stop, wouldn't stop. And I began to move my no, you don't to yes, you can.
Come on.
Yes, you will. You can do this. Let's do this. Let's go. And bam, doors began opening. So I was like, yeah.
bam. And then you
Yeah.
said, you know what? I'm going to dance. I remember the morning that I saw you dance on Instagram.
Yeah.
I called my best friend. I called her and I said, you got to go take a look at this lady. And she called me back. She's like, I just watch her. She's so free. This is so great. It was amazing. But this is so life-giving what you're saying. If everybody could hear this and take
Yeah.
it to heart,
Yes.
you know, I think we would overcome a little bit of the fear of I don't have, my
Yes.
house is not this, or I don't have all that money. It's so interesting how much we have to overcome to
Yes.
be ourselves.
That's it.
That's
Your authentic self. Be your authentic self. And that will grab the hearts of others.
yes.
Just be your authentic self.
And the other thing I notice about you that I want to bring it up is because I feel like you were a teacher in this matter. I feel like you teach us
Yeah.
is your level of bringing honor to your mother, bringing honor. Can you share a little bit about that? Because we're living in a society that we are consumed by
Yeah.
ourselves. It's just me and me more pretty, me, but you do bring into your feed to your followers as an influencer that you are, you bring honor. You teach people like, here's
Yes.
how I'm going to honor my mom. And every
Yeah.
time I see this, there's times that I actually cry. Every time I see this, because it when you do something, it reminds of our own selves. It
Yes.
reminds of, at least for me, as a, as a person that my ancestries went through so much, in
Mhm.
you know like,
Yes.
so when you bring that honor to your mom and to the ones that came before you that might
Yeah.
did not had Instagram at that time
Right.
to say how great they didn't have that type of cheerleaders behind. What is in your heart behind, why do you do that?
So I'm gonna share, I'm be vulnerable and share my mom. Oh, I get teary-eyed every time I think about it. My mother was a single parent of four. She had three boys, and I'm the only girl. And I know the struggles. We grew up in the struggles, as my mom being a single mother. But what I can say is that watching my mom raise us on her own, she always kept her home together. We never knew if she couldn't pay her light bill. We never knew if she couldn't pay her rent. She didn't own a home. We was renters. Mom didn't own a home. So, and I'm being vulnerable by throwing this out there, but you have to know someone's true story in order to appreciate where you can be at this moment. So we never knew that, hey, we didn't have a meal that my mom could eat. Like my mom sometimes used to go to bed at night hungry because there was just enough food for her to feed us. And she never told me those stories until we became adults. And with her sharing that, it just made me appreciate the smaller things, the little things that we sometimes in life we omit. Our parents a lot of times doesn't share their struggles because they want us to see, yes, you can make this what you want to make it, no matter what condition you're in. And so mom always, whether it was a photograph of us and her four children on a mantle with a candle or a lot of flowers, she always made her home look so pretty. So I told myself that I will honor my mother every chance I get, because I started there. And I didn't mean to cry on this
Oh no, this
podcast,
is so good.
but
So good.
she made me appreciate where I come from, how I came through. She made me appreciate this so much. And so I teach that to my children. My children never had to lack for anything,
Right.
but that doesn't mean nothing. I always teach them, what if you didn't have this? Let me show you how you live, just in case you don't have this.
Wow.
Because a storm could come
Wow.
in your life.
Yes.
And you don't know where the storm will take you. So we have to be grateful for every moment, every minute. And she instilled that in me. My mom is such a creator. She crochets. And the Lord knows she's the best cook out there. Not to say anyone else's mom is, but she's the best cook. But she is such a creator. She crocheted blankets for us when we was younger. My mom used to make my doll clothes. She's a seamstress by trade. So whenever she bought me dolls and things, she would make my clothes and things, because we couldn't afford for me to go out and have all the best Barbie doll clothes that there were.
I know.
But she still tried to instill that in us, that, hey, if you can't purchase this, we can hand make this. And boy, that is where my foundation began, with her. So I always told myself, every chance I get, I'm going to show Mom that I appreciate it, the hard times. I appreciated your struggle. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you, Mom. I appreciate you.
And then you just teach us how to serve and honor that generation that have give us everything.
Yes. I became her servant. If you notice, if you see some of my reels where my mom, I'm serving her.
Yes.
I am definitely serving her in order to, and I take this back to the word of God, in order to be anything, you have to first become a servant.
And you brought this point. Now we're getting deeper and deeper here. You brought this point, and one thing I have noticed lately, in different circles and tables that I sit, and I sit in tables where people serve themselves first, and they serve themselves to eat, and they don't have that spirit. And I sit in tables where the main thing is the person feels like I was created to serve. Now, here's what I see: the people that are serving the most are the most successful in every area I see. The people that hold back and says, I deserve to be served, you serve me, they are struggling for life.
Oh my gosh,
like nobody else business. And it's one thing that I noticed. And for you to say, we're created to serve, Rebecca. We're serving with everything in us. What you're telling me, what I hear from you is to say, here's the key for success.
Yes.
Serve well.
Serve well.
That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
You're telling me we are made to serve.
Yes.
but there's so many people that are struggling out there, and they feel, no, you serve me. Right, but they can't get out of the rat race. They can't get out of the places that where they are because of that mentality.
Yes.
I feel like I have connected with you in so many levels.
Yes.
Because it's the level of a heart, it's the level of honor, it's the level of beauty, it's the level of creativity. But this level of serving is such a key to unlock doors that we hope for and believe for.
Yeah.
Now, when we were talking before we recorded, you said, when you look at your future, because I always call my friends by destiny. I look at you and I see like I told my husband, said, oh my gosh, I'm about to go to an interview with this very famous designer. And I said to him, I said, my heartbeat's going fast. And he said, you do great. Because the way I see you, you have that place. You're my sister, but my friends, like I admire my friends. Like I literally, I become like, I'm your fan, So I see them by their destiny. When you look at everything that you're creating and putting out there, what do you feel like it's going to be the next thing for you?
I'm glad you brought that up. So I always think about this so much. When I close my eyes at night, and I told you this story, I always say, okay, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this? What is my next step? Like, what if this happens? What? And I always think back to, okay, this appointed time and this purpose is going to expand in whatever your heart desire. And I always say dreams automatically come true. And so I said to myself, how in the world did I get these followers? How in the world do they follow? Like, why do they like me? Like, what in my little self do they like?
Right.
And then that's when I began to think about the why in the situation. And
Mm.
I said to myself, my handle says it all: purpose driven living.
Oh,
There's a purpose for everything we do, whether we see it or whether we don't see it. There is a purpose. And when we begin to drive that purpose and to live in that purpose, then our why becomes our actions become our dreams, and our dreams become what we wanted from the start.
do you see me, my, do you see like just my heart just receiving? It's just, you're right. What I had to stop and write it down. There is a purpose for everything
Yes.
we do.
Yes.
So what you're saying is don't live a life reacting to everything, and don't live a life without a purpose,
Exactly. Yes.
right? Now, I love all this. This has been a rich conversation for the soul. It just I see that it's so, I'm excited to see where the future is going to take you, the amazing things that you're going to do. I remember a few weeks ago, I was in the interview with Handmade Amazon, and I had a guy there, Hilton Carter, and he's a designer. He was part of the interview. Yeah. So
Yes.
in that little group with the interview. And we were talking backstage, and he said, well, I'm gonna go full time doing this thing. We're talking.
Yeah.
Then I walk a Target, and I was,
Wow.
this is Hilton Carter. He made it. He was talking like that he wanted to go full time. Like
Yeah.
it's taking time. I'm struggling. I'm building a bridge. I hope this happens. But then I walk at Target and I see him, his picture, and I was like, this is incredible. This is amazing.
Incredible.
You know? And I was thinking, like, I'm excited to see all the surprises and the places where you are going to go.
Oh my
And
God.
I am going to say, oh my Lord, I know that lady. I know her. And I call her sister, and I'll be so excited to see all the amazing, incredible places that God is going to place you and put you. And you're going to light your shine upon everyone as you already do. Because the people that don't follow you, they're missing a little bit of joy in their lives. They're missing a little inspiration, they're missing a little teaching, they're missing a little bit. So if you are listening to this podcast, go follow Malisa on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest for inspiration.
Yeah.
Malisa, if there is one word that you would like to say, one quote, one word that you would like to tell us before we end this, what that would be.
Okay. So again, I take it back to the word, and I always like to come from Ecclesiastes 3:17. And it says, I said in my heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked. For there is a time there for every purpose and every work.
Amen.
Amen. Every
Amen.
purpose, there is a purpose for everything and every work. And it's like, it's right here. You just reach up and grab it, and you continue to pull that purpose down until it reaches here. And then once it reach here, you can then begin to move on that purpose.
This is incredible. We're so grateful
Thank you
for the
so much,
time.
Rebecca. I'm
We're
so
so
grateful.
grateful for your precious time you give to us.
Mhm.
How can people connect with you? Where is the best place for them to go?
So I'm on my Instagram most of the time. And again, my handle is Purpose Driven Living Home. And I'm also on TikTok, Purpose Driven Living Home, also on Pinterest, Purpose Driven Living Home. So all three of those social medias you can find me on, but I'm on the Instagram majority of the time. If you want to message me and DM me, I'll find it there before I find it anywhere else.
That's amazing. Melissa, again, thank you so much for being a jump, and I
Thank you,
can't
Rebecca.
wait to continue watching you to the top.
All right. Love you, sister.
Love you. Bye.
Bye bye.